Welcome to this episode of Eureka, and we are going to have a conversation with Dr. B.S. Murty, who is the Director of Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In this episode, we are going to talk about how institutions like IIT Hyderabad had come forward with novel technologies and ideas to address COVID pandemic in India and how they are gearing up to become a new institution which will serve the new India that we are seeing emerging. Keep watching. We are going to continue this conversation. Sir, thank you for being in the show. It's a very wonderful opportunity. And I'm told in the recent rankings, the IIT Hyderabad had really come up and it has become one of the top institutions in India. And I'm sure you and your faculty have made this possible. So let's start with this discussion on COVID pandemic, which is one of the major challenge that we are facing in India today. And we need novel ideas. We need varieties of techniques, not just one solution, but multiple solutions. We are a very huge country with differing problems. So if I have to ask you, like, let's say, list the three major activities from IIT Hyderabad, which are focused towards COVID pandemic and which you have taken up in the recent past, what would you list them?
Yes. First of all, nice meeting you once again. 2 years back, I met you, I remember, where we talked about the nanotechnology work that we have been doing at IIT Madras. Those days, I used to be at IIT Madras. You are aware of that. Yeah. So yes, one thing that I can tell you is, though these are difficult times, they have also given opportunities for a lot of people to come up with very innovative ideas. I think the whole country, almost every IIT is doing their own best to really tackle and come up with new ideas. So at IIT Hyderabad, quite a number of, I can say almost 30 to 40 different projects are going on related to COVID at IIT Hyderabad right now. Okay. In spite of the lockdowns, in spite of many PhD students not being there, faculty are really working day and night in various areas. If you want me to list major three areas, I would say ventilators is one area. Okay. The other one is test kits. Okay. Where you can come up with some sensors and things like that. And of course, vaccine related research. Okay. Vaccine related research, is going to take long time. Okay. A lot of, testing, lot of certifications are all involved. But I can say that one very unique thing that has come up is a low cost ventilator. Okay.
Yeah. One of the ventilators is something that has come out very interestingly. I want to just point out that given the fact that a large number of people are getting infected and are seeking medical help, the demand on ventilators might go up and we need to have solutions. Sure. So how is your ventilator going to be different from what is available in the market? Yeah. What is its uniqueness?
Yeah, first and foremost is it's going to be IoT enabled. Okay, most of these ventilators that you are using nowadays in most of the multi-specialty hospitals are not really IoT enabled. So this is something because we want to bring in newer technologies. So it's and also you might possibly know that national level committee, with the chairmanship of DRDO chairman, Dr. Satish Reddy, has come up with certain specifications. Okay. In fact, around March middle, we have written to various agencies in government saying that this is important, that we are all going to face a very difficult situation. So it is important that nation takes up this in a big way, come up with a committee which will form certain specifications and call for various ideas from people whose ventilators can meet those specifications, and then identify those people and give them some support. So that has really come out very well.
You say that there are some specifications that have been worked out which are forward-looking. Can you tell us some 2-3 specifications which are distinct?
The major thing is, in the oxygen flow rate, for example, that depending on the condition of the patient, what is the pressure that need to be given. So these are all very crucial, and if they are not rightly given, it may even cause a fatality in case of the patient. So one has to be very careful. The correct rate of oxygen content, the correct flow rate, correct pressure, these are all very important. So these specifications government has specified, which are really high-end specifications, and our people, the Jeevan Lite that everybody knows about it now, have been able to. It's a small startup. Aerobiasis is the name of that company, which has come out of, at IIT Hyderabad we have something called Center for Healthcare. Okay. CFHE we call it as, healthcare entrepreneurship we call it as, because IIT Hyderabad gives a lot of importance to entrepreneurship. We have even a minor in entrepreneurship also. Right now we are coming up with a department of entrepreneurship and management. Very recently we have announced that. So this particular CFHE, which looks at healthcare entrepreneurship, has a number of small startups that have come up. One of the startup is Aerobiasis, which has come up with this Jeevan Lite, where they have been able to meet all the specifications of this government. And now there is a company called JCB. You all must have heard of JCBs, which are used in all constructions. So this is called JCB India. Okay. So they are the ones which are, in fact, when I am speaking right now, they are coming up with a beta version. About a month back, we were ready with an alpha version. Okay. Almost every week we have meetings taking place to look at the progress of it, not only looking at the manufacture of it in a large scale, but also looking at marketability. Okay, so there are a number of teams that are working together right now, and we are sure that by around middle of August, 15th of August or so, we will have a few numbers of the initial numbers, aiming at around 100 or so to come, so that people can start.
You also mentioned that this is IoT enabled. That is basically it's Internet of Things.
So as a result,
what is it and how is it going to be useful?
Correct. The use is, the whole idea is most of these ventilators are very expensive. Okay. So something like costing 5 lakhs and above, depending on the kind of integrities that are involved. So we are talking of anything less than 1 lakh. Okay. So even if possible, bring it up to 50,000 if possible. And if you can do that, our goal is, if government can take it up in a big way, so we will have every primary health center, okay, in a village, we'll have 1 or 2 of these. So that if there is a patient in a village, he need not have to go to the nearest city or town, and he can get that advantage there. And immediately, once the testing is done, the people in the PHC will be trained on how to utilize it, and immediately it will go to a big doctor in that field. Let's say in pulmonology, for example, a specialist of pulmonology gets that reading, and based on that, he will be able to give an advice sitting in, let's say, Bombay or Bangalore or Delhi or Hyderabad, though the patient is actually sitting in a very, very remote village. So that is the uniqueness of this.
Okay. So basically, this is also kind of integrating the
AI, integrating the artificial intelligence. So we thought that why not bring in all the new technologies that we know and utilize the new technologies and integrate them into this device. And that's exactly what we are.
You are also saying that most likely, I mean, at least significant numbers would be available by August 15th for...
That's the objective, because right now you can see we are reaching close to 10 lakhs. Okay. Generally, it is expected that around 3 to 5% of these will have, breathing difficulties. So you need a large numbers of these. Okay. That is the direction in which we are moving. We have one more ventilator which is made by our mechanical department of faculty, and that has been taken by HMT. HMT is now manufacturing that. Okay. So very soon we are expecting that also to come up. Okay. Which is more based on the what I would call it as actuator based ventilator. So that quite a number of faculty in mechanical department have come together and they are doing that.
Yeah, so you are also pointing out about diagnostic kit, because diagnostics is also becoming
very important. Correct.
Very large numbers.
Now,
so we
to know whether somebody has it or not is very important. Okay, and to know it very quickly also is important, because the existing test kits take anyway almost like 5 hours or so. You give your sample, and after 2 days you will know the result.
Yeah.
So one of our faculty, Shiv Govind Singh, has come up from electrical department, has come up with a test kit which is not PCR based. Most of the existing are all PCR based. So he has come up with a new idea where you can test it, get the result within 20 minutes. Okay, so one of the shortest, I would say, in the whole world in terms of the testing capabilities. So he's able to come up with that.
I mean, if it is not using PCR, how does it actually test the presence of
I'm
infection?
not completely into the science of it, but he uses mostly certain nano materials which will quickly take the signal from that and be able to give whether it is positive or negative. Okay, these are basically screening tests. Okay, and you need to get the screening test very quickly done so that you know what kind of measures you need to take. Okay. So that is something that we are waiting for an ICMR approval of that. Once that comes, again, there are quite a number of industries which are looking for taking this up. So that is another direction.
So quite obviously, this diagnostic kit will also gone for some evaluation in the future.
Correct.
We have
what is called ESIC in Hyderabad. So those are the people who have done the initial testing, and every test it has really perfectly been able to predict very well. Okay, both patients who have the COVID positive and those who do not have, it is able to segregate them very well. So based on that, now we are going to ICMR. So we are waiting for the ICMR results.
Okay, that's a very nice point. Here we will take a very short break and we'll continue this conversation. We'll take a very short break. Keep watching Eureka. After this break, we'll continue this conversation to discuss about how Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad, is taking various efforts to help containing this pandemic. Keep watching Eureka. A short break.
Namaskar. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. I am Smriti Rastogi. In order to deal with the situation arising out of the COVID-19 outbreak, the government is not leaving any stone unturned. After the Arogya Setu app, the Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has launched Ayush Sanjeevani mobile app. The Ayush Sanjeevani mobile app will help to generate data on acceptance and usage of Ayush advocacies and measures among the population and its impact in prevention of COVID-19. It is developed by the Ministry of Ayush and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and shall reach out to a target of 50 lakh people. According to Dr. Harshvardhan, the COVID-19 management has provided a potent platform for alliance between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Ayush and organizations such as CSIR, ICMR and UGC to not only develop Ayush interventions and solutions but also help in promoting Ayush knowledge for the larger good of the global community. The salient features of the Ayush Sanjeevani app are summary of Ayush advisory on immunity boosting measures in a simple language, a separate set of questionnaires for Ayush practitioners and general public, response-based rating on health building efforts of an individual. Well, that's all we have for you. We will be back with more such informative videos. Till then, take good care of your health. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.
Welcome back to Eureka. We are having a very interesting conversation with Dr. B.S. Murty, who is the Director of Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Before the break, we were talking about how their institution has come up with a very fast kit, a kit which can give results in just 20 minutes, and also a Jeevan Lite, a ventilator which can be produced at lower cost. Now, sir, I want to ask you about some of the activities that you have been doing in the area of drugs and pharmaceutical, right? So that's also another area that your institution has got in, including vaccine. So broadly, what are all the effort that you are taking in your institution in this area?
Interestingly, at IIT Hyderabad, among the newer IITs, second generation IITs, we have a biotechnology department and a biomedical engineering department, two separate departments. Okay,
which
that's
is
very
not there
unique.
in some of the earlier institutions, right? I mean, generally life sciences were absent from IITs completely.
Sure. So two separate departments, which you don't see it very often in IITs. So as a result, most of the faculty, so there are some faculty who are completely into biology, okay, and there are some who are more into biomedical engineering, so they want to convert everything into an engineering program. So the Jeevan Lite that we talked about came out of biomedical engineering, for example. So the biology people who are in biotechnology department are coming up with a number of vaccine and drug related things, which I do agree that these are all time-taking things, because a lot of testing has to go on until you really come up with something which can be useful. There are also faculty in this department who are also able to predict very well. We are tied up with Telangana government, where almost every alternate day we tell them how is it growing and things like that. So what are the predictions for the next 15 days, so that they can take measures in such a way that they can curtail the influence of it to a large extent. So that is another direction where we are doing. Of course, quite a number of work is also going on, coming up with new sanitizers, UV sanitizers. Okay, there are also small robo. For example, one of our faculty has come up with a robo which can go to an area where COVID patients are there, where personally somebody is not able to go. So you can send medicines to that person, so that remotely it can be operated. So the things like that have also been come up. So quite a number of softwares people have developed. For example, how to identify whether social distancing is being maintained or not in public places, or whether people are wearing the mask or not. So using cameras, CCTVs, and coming up with computer vision related softwares, people are able to come up with. And also in the areas of even drones, how to utilize drones for this. So there are certain faculty who are working on. So variety, almost like 30 different projects are right now going on COVID related. Very amazing. There's so much of energy among the faculty. I thoroughly enjoy this.
Very, very interesting and colorful. Wide varieties of effort that one can see. And also, particularly when the students are not available and only the faculty have to take all this, it's a huge thing to chew.
Interestingly, there are some students also sitting at their homes, coming up with some, devices, some kind of softwares and apps which can help. So that is another thing that is going on very well. Recently, we have conducted, a kind of call for proposals from students. Okay. They all submitted proposals. Then we identified some proposals and then gave them 1 lakh rupee to each of the students to come up with some, kits, if possible, for solving the problems related to COVID, sitting at their own home. So that is also very unique.
So now let me shift to another area, which is the IIT Hyderabad itself. It's a very new institution which has come up very recently, and it's also come up in a time when the world is changing. The world of science is changing. The world of technology is changing. The society is also changing in a huge way. So the IITs which were there, let's say about 60 years ago, they served a purpose for their time. We need to reinvent ourselves. We need to refigure ourselves for the modern times. So what are your plans for bringing up this new institute to, let's say, 21st century?
Yeah, so IIT Hyderabad is unique in many respects. Came up about 11 years back. I would say 2008 it started, actually 12 years back. So we cannot be still called as very new institution in that sense, because there is a third generation IITs also that have come up in 2014-15. So we are called the second generation IIT. But because of the very unique features that IIT Hyderabad has come up with, for example, we have something called fractal academics. where students have a freedom to do a large number of courses which are a 0.5 credit course or 1 credit course. Older IITs typically have a 3 credit courses which are 1 semester long. So here you can have a course which is only 15 days course or a 1 month course and things like that. So as a result, we can actually take the advantage of people who are far off from IIT Hyderabad and who will just come for a weekend. Okay, earlier days, let us say. Now we can also do it with online. So that way, the fractal academics has really given a lot of flexibility in the academic system, which in an older IIT, it is not easy to bring in. Newer IITs can come up with newer ideas. That way, this is one. And AI, artificial intelligence, we focused a lot when compared to most of the older IITs. I think we were the first to start a BTech in AI. Okay. I came to know that when we started BTech in AI, that we were number 3 in the whole world. Okay. MIT, Stanford were the only 2 other IITs which have a UG course, UG program in AI. So we have about 25 faculty in the AI department. This is a very unique department. We have also a department for climate change. Okay, where again a lot of AI is being used. So these are certain plus points of IIT Hyderabad, because of which we have been doing much better. We also focused a lot on research. Right now we have about 900 PhD students, which is again a large number when compared to many of the second generation IITs, because we focused a lot more onto the research. Even number of faculty also. We have about 200.
Yeah, the one interesting point that you are pointing out is that you have developed new faculties or rather new areas which are not touched by older IITs and new courses. Can you maybe list some 4 or 5 that kind of interesting? One is that you said AI, one you said, so can you list some few?
Sure, a few more I can tell you. After I have come here about 10 months back, we wanted to do more and more industry-oriented programs. Okay. So, for example, one thing that we initiated is a semester-long internship for our BTechs. Okay. So far, internships were always summer internships, just for about 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So we said, let the student spend a long time with the industry, understand the industry much better, and that will also bring industry very close to IIT. Okay, so this is something that we have started from this particular academic year. We are going to start in a big way. So any student who has 8 CGPA or more can take up this and then spend 6 to 8 months in an industry. Okay,
very interesting.
Yes, this is one, and a number of industry-oriented MTech programs we have started. One program on additive manufacturing. Okay, DRDO is supporting us in a big way in that. Okay, and certain industry are also. You are possibly aware that we have also brought in a DRDO cell at IIT Hyderabad, which is again a unique thing. Okay, so that we can do contribute to the country's growth in the strategic sector in much better way. And this is another thing. We have also started a e-waste management, another MTech course. Okay, along with CMET in Hyderabad. Okay, Center for Materials for Electronic Technologies. Again, that is a very unique course where we take care of how to manage the e-waste. We have also come up with another MTech program on medical device innovation. Okay, where you come up at the end of the 2-year MTech program, come up with a product which is useful for doctors or patients, for example. This program is again jointly being done by AIG. Okay, gastroenterology, Asian Institute of Gastroenterology that we have at Hyderabad. So Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, who is heading that, is very strongly supporting this. So we have also started coming up with a new MTech program on cyber security. Okay, information security. Okay, integrated sensor systems, smart mobility. There are so many such programs. About 8 to 9 MTech programs we have started this time. Okay. We have also started tying up with industry more and more, so that our MTech students do 50% of our MTech students, we want them to do industry projects. So we go to industry, ask them what kind of problems that you have, which can be solved in a year or so. And we list these problems and give it to the students to choose from them. And so that the students can do this in a way that is useful to the industry. And that will make the industry and academia to come closer and work hard towards what is called Atmanirbhar Bharat, that Prime Minister talks about it. I think this is time that academia should come close as possible to industry and work together so that this Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat are taken very seriously. And we are working in that direction.
Yeah, rightly, as you also rightly pointed out, that a number of courses which are actually looking at the contemporary emerging areas, so that we have people in those areas who are trained in India and will be available for India. That's a huge challenge that one needs to look. So one need to look at this kind of your institution has also gone up in the national ranking. So can you tell something about that?
See, in the national ranking, we are maintaining it. Actually, last year also we were number 8. Okay, if you know that the top 7 slots are always reserved for the first generation IITs so far. So the first older IITs, 5 IITs, and then we have Guwahati and Roorkee. So these 7 are considered as the first generation IITs. We are just below that. Okay, so among the second and third generation IITs, we can say we are number 1 in that. And this year also we maintained that. Okay, so we are again in the number 8th rank. But what is more interesting also is that in the QS rankings, which is in the world rankings of QS world rankings, we have been in top 10 in the country. So that is very happy situation. I mean, I very delightful situation, and we are all very happy about it. And basically because of all these new changes that we are see, if you look at QS rankings, 45% of the marks given are for perception. Okay, so what is their perception of people who are outside the country about various institutions? So one way we are trying to tie up with so many overseas institutions, trying to do what are called joint doctoral programs, exchange programs, and things like that, and also trying to see if we can bring their students onto our campus and see the Indian culture and work with our people, and also do more which are industry oriented programs. With that, we feel that the perception of people about IIT Hyderabad also will grow, and that would also significantly help. And our faculty are working hard on improving their publications, quality of their publications. We have about 210 faculty, and the average age is about 37. So we are one of the very young institutions in that respect, and that brings in a lot of energy. So this is, and also courage to take up difficult tasks. When you are young, you always want to take up grand challenges. Okay, so that is something which is unique, and we are trying to support that in a big way. The institute is giving, for example, we have increased our seed grants. We used to have about 3 lakhs as the seed grant earlier, which has been now made into 25 lakhs, depending on the needs of the people. So we are also trying to support all the faculty. We are encouraging what is called interdisciplinary research, so that one faculty from one department, another faculty from another department, when they come together and put up a proposal, institute supports them with some funding from our own internal resources. So I think all these would help us in improving our quality of research. And also by tying up with industry, we will also be able to not only do fundamental research, but also do a lot of applied research, and so that technologies can come out. So these are the kind of directions in which we are moving, and I'm sure these will help us in a long way.
That's a very interesting point, but for lack of time, maybe we'll have to end our conversation here. There are lots of other issues we can certainly discuss about the institute, but some of the key points that you pointed out, that radically new courses that you are offering to the students, opportunities to work with industry, getting questions, challenges from industry, and then taking it as a live project for students to address, a young faculty, and promotion of research. These are all, I think, very important to ensure that the institution becomes strong and help in nation building. Sir, thank you for being in our show. It's a very wonderful conversation, right from COVID effort to your forward-looking policies one can see from your conversation. Thank you for being in the show. Keep watching Eureka. We'll come back with another conversation next week, same time.
Thank you very much.